like should not be inside.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, yes, we finally got here. We got some good people on here already, so that's good. Look,
Oh,
Angela.
hi.
Yes.
Hi. Hello.
Lots of hearts, lots of hearts. We have Maria Cristina. Buenas noches. Thank you for sharing this live feed. Yes.
Oh, Maria.
Yeah, we
Hi.
have a lot of people. We have who's
Oh,
this?
Richard's on. I think it's
That's right.
Richard.
And who's this?
Oh, Bridget.
That's right.
Congratulations, Bridget, on your gallery reception at Soma Arts. Was it Friday?
Yeah.
It's Friday.
Yeah, I saw some pictures. Really cool. Hello, Matt.
Hello,
And
Matt.
So I'm trying to get another person on here too, which is Yaya, and we're here for the City of Altars to bring out what is the City of Altars, right? What is, yes. So let's start out with this. Everybody else, please ask us questions about it too, because we would love to. We want you to be able to what do you call it? Interact. That's it. And we also have Tina Favala, who is an altar.
Falala.
Sorry, I can't even talk. She's an altar artist with part of the groups, and we will be going through every Monday here to tell you what's going on for this week and the events coming up after that. So, oh look, we have
Rosemary.
yeah,
Maria's inviting people.
there you go. See, and then we have Patty Fernandez. Wow, we got a lot of people. That's great. That's beautiful. So, City of Altars, talk to me. What is it?
That's a great question, Ruben. So I'll try to summarize it in like 30 seconds if possible. But you can't really do that. So City of Altars is a program, yes, that the Latino Center has launched, but truthfully, it's not anything that's new to the region because as you know, or many of us know, those who have lived in Sacramento for a long time, there is a very beautiful spirit of coming together during this time of year. And there are literally altares made at the celebration of Dia de los Muertos, where we really honor the ones who have departed and also the ones who are still alive. But I think to be telling the story of what happens in Sacramento is so exciting because a lot of the world doesn't know how special Sacramento is. We do talk about certain artists that are from the area. We talk about certain folks who have been a part of this movement. But I think this project, what's allowing us to do is to come together as 5 different organizations that includes our own center, Soul Collective, Taller Arte Nuevo Amanecer in Woodland, Sojourner Truth, and the Washington Neighborhood Center, 5 very strong art hubs within the region who all in their own way do a series of altar making and Dia de los Muertos activations and work with so many artists across many generations every year. But the program itself allows us to collaborate. So with help from the City of Sacramento and the California Arts Council, we actually were able to come together a few months ago and say, let's do what we do, but let's do it on purpose. And let's do it with purpose. And so there's a lot of honoring of this tradition that's been around for almost 5 decades. And I'm excited for some of the folks that will be joining us on this live stream to talk more about that because they've been a part of that since day one. But also for all of us to really engage with one another and with our communities. Because the altar is a very sacred practice. But the way that we share it with our communities, the way that we come together with other artists even to do this work is really exciting. So it's been a lot of work. A lot of love goes into this month for almost all of us who are involved is a lot of work. But I think that I'm coming from a place of wanting to learn, wanting to really hold on to these practices and to be able to share them with everyone else. So I think with that, the City of Altars is just a really beautiful collaboration of many arts organizations and over 40 altaristas and artists who are leading these workshops and showing all of us what these practices are in the history of Sacramento. But the last piece I'll say, because you know more about this too, is we're filming the whole thing. We don't want to lose these stories. We are talking to these altaristas, we're speaking to these families, we're speaking to the people in the community and collectively gathering these stories. And we'll be creating a documentary about this experience. So it's a labor of love. It's a lot of work, but I think the rest of the world should know what's been happening in Sacramento for the last 5 decades.
Yeah. So everybody ask any questions out there because there is a lot, and there's a lot to unpack. And with this series, we'll have the ability to have different people, different artists to interview to give us their take on what they feel, how they're creating, and all the beautiful things that's about to happen and are happening now. So we're going to go to the calendar real quick so we can see what's happening this month, and then we'll go by week. So that's the whole goal, is to go by week so I can tell you every week, because there's a lot of stuff going on this week too. But we'll check out the month, okay?
Okay.
You want to take that over right there?
Sure. Yes. So I'm actually going to bring Tina in, even though you haven't even introduced her yet, but she'll
Oh no,
introduce.
she's not ready.
Oh, she's not
Yes,
ready.
yes, yes. How could she is? Yes.
Sorry, Tina.
No,
You're going to.
you are just kidding. Yes.
Okay. Well, either way. So this calendar really captures all the activations and workshops that are leading up to the five major events for the centers. So Soul Collective does Souls of the City in Old Sac. We do Panteon de Sacramento, which is a 3-day festival from November 3rd to the 5th. Washington Neighborhood Center will also have their Dia de los Muertos. Dana and Woodland will also have their Dia de Muertos. But what is unique is that the Sojourner Truth Museum also keeps alive this tradition of altar making and ofrenda making, but they do so through Kwanzaa. And Kwanzaa is celebrated near the end of December into the new year. So each of these spaces is using or actually really channeling a lot of their love and connection to community through this altar, but doing so at different times of the year. Each center as well is also adding 2 workshops with the community where they're teaching people in the community about altar making, ofrendas, and the history of this as it relates to their communities. And so all those little flowers that you see there, they're color coded and they show where these workshops are happening, and all of them are free to the community. So if you want to learn more about how to register for these workshops, to learn more about them, who are the altaristas who are leading them, go to their social media sites, go to their websites, call them up. They have them posted as well. So we'll be doing as much as we can on our end. All of the 5 organizations are promoting each other's work and workshops so that if you live in a certain area, you can go to the workshop that's closest to you. But the hope is that you will be a part of all of our major events as well.
What's going on with Tana this week? Wait.
Tana is doing a poetry workshop. So that's being led by Elise Doyle Martinez at Taller Ate Nuevo Amanecer in Woodland, California. And so this is one of their first activations or first workshops where there is an element of altar making, but they're also going to have several poets on site. And of course, something that is very true to Tana is they will be doing a great deal of screen printing as well. So for families who are closer to Woodland, California, you are able to attend tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. And there will be poetry, there will be celebration, there will be art making, and there will be altar making as well. So they're getting started. I know Soul Collective just had one of
Wait.
their works.
What's
Oh,
happening with Soul Collective?
there's just so much. Yeah, so Calaveras y Esqueletos. And I think, they have a few workshops as well. And for those of you who are familiar with Soul Collective's work, they have been doing these workshops every year. And so what's exciting is to be able to say to the rest of our communities, look at the great work that these organizations do as well. So Soul Collective has Calaveras y Esqueletos scheduled for October 14th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. So you would be going to their location and they will be doing a grabado de Dia de Muertos. Grabado is also silk screening, and there's also a Day of the Dead printmaking, and that is being led by Lurak, or his name is Luis, who actually works at Soul Collective. So he's also a partner and lead altarista on the project. But each one of these is workshops is led by 1, 2, 3, or 4 altaristas. And each of these workshops also has many different components to it. So there's a lot of different pieces that happen, and community can come learn more about that.
I wonder what's happening at the Washington Center.
Yes. I love the way this one's set up. Hold on. I'm like, as much as I was like, I may not be old or young, but I still have a hard time seeing.
It's
So
a 12th, yeah.
yeah, they just had one this past Saturday, and that was really beautiful. But they have one coming up this Thursday that focuses on corn making. So, and it's also a zine workshop led by Ritual of Myth Making. So they're doing a few other things as well, and they're doing their youth Dia de los Muertos altar making, trick or treat children's party. So the only thing that ties all of these different events together in workshops is the fact that altar making or ofrendas will be discussed and shown to the family, and the community members get to be a part of that creation. So each center knows their audiences better, they know their community members better, and they know how to engage with them. I love that for some of these workshops, there's a specific focus on youth. Some there's a specific focus on many generations. Others are more focused on poetry and the literary arts. Some are more visual, some are performance. And like for some of ours, also, they're even language based, depending on the types of folks that are coming to our centers. But in all of them, the history of altar making will be discussed. And also there's an opportunity for community members to be a part of that.
And they have one on Sunday too, so they're kicking on all. And what about the Look at this one right here. What about this? Oh, wrong one.
We need
Sorry.
to find a better way to like.
There you go.
Yes, so I'm actually excited for this one. This is going to be a community arte. So inside the Galleria at the Latino Center, we will actually have 4 artists, 2 specifically. We're missing a few folks here, but Lupe Portillo. If you don't know who that is, you're gonna find out. Lupe Portillo has been a critical person. Oh, thank you, Viridiana. Yes, I hope your homeschoolers can come out to any of these workshops and learn more about this as well. But there's also a history of Sacramento. We post them to our Instagram, any of these infographics, Lena. So anything that you're seeing that's of interest, go to our website. We are constantly updating it on our website, but go to our Instagram channels as well. So all 5 of us are cross-promoting all of our different workshops and events right now too. And that main calendar, yes, Richard, I'm going to go back to Loop in just a moment. That main calendar with all the art centers and all their activations is going to be an image that we released this week as well. So everyone will have the opportunity to download that, to share it. And so you have this master plan of all the different activities happening in the region. But just to wrap that point about Lupe Portillo, who will be leading the Plática on this coming Saturday, she's a critical person here in the community. For the past 50 years, she has been leading a lot of the activations here in Sacramento. And although City of Altars is a new name or new idea, the reality is that Sacramento has been doing something called Altares del Mundo for a very long time. So there has been a collaborative spirit here for many, many decades, which other people can speak to much better than I can. But there was always this understanding that this was a community-led activity with many people, and those who wanted to be a part of it could. And so it's really in the tradition of something that's been done. And we're really grateful that we have the structure and the funding to be able to support all of the arts organizations and to be able to bring this kind of activity back to the region. But I know we're about to meet Tina, but Tina Favela is the daughter of, I'm so sorry. I know I was gonna say Richard, and I was like, that's just because it's been a long day. But Ricardo Favela, who is, of course, if you don't know, and this is the part of the history of Sacramento that I think that's something that we should be so proud of, is that there are incredible world-renowned artists that are from this region who are very few are still here. Many we are losing. And part of this history, this capture of these stories is actually keeping them alive. And so Ricardo Favela was an instrumental member of, he was an educator at Sac State. He was also a youth advocate, but he was also a member of the Royal Chicano Air Force. And his family, especially his daughter, who you'll meet in just a moment, can truly speak to that better than any of us can. So what you have are young elders, elders, you have up and coming elders, but folks who are in conversation with one another, talking about how special Sacramento is and what these traditions look like and how do we keep them alive.
All right. With that great introduction, we present to you who has gone very far, Tina Favela.
Hello.
How's it going?
Pretty good, thank you. Long day. Just
Tia.
got finished wrapping up, starting an ofrenda for my father at Arte Americas in Fresno. So got to go back and finish that later on in the week. And then I'll be there on the 14th for a mini altar making workshop at the Latino Center.
Right on. Carissa, we need you in there too because it looks kind of weird if you're not in there.
Yeah,
there you go.
Okay.
I'm like, yeah. So and you already have done a workshop already too for the City Altar too, right?
Yes. I just finished on Sunday, yesterday. Oh my God, it's Monday. Yesterday. We did the mini altar making workshop with Soul Collective.
Okay. And what are you going to do this weekend?
This weekend's also mini altar. So we're going to be making shoebox altars. Something that's really wonderful about this workshop, it's done with recyclable materials. So we can do it in a very cost-effective way to make it really accessible to the community, and so that we can also provide materials for many instead of just few.
Right on. And you have any props? Not props, but you have any? What'd you call them?
Also in the process of putting together this altar for my father. He had a little comic that he would draw, and we would, as kids, see it all the time. So I try to take the 2D images and make them to 3D. So I have this here. I don't know if you can see it, but this is
Yes.
Espori the Pinto and his little buddy Piojos. There's another dog. I'm gonna put a little wire on him so he looks like he has Piojos jumping off of him. But my dad, grew up in Dinuba, and there were always cats and dogs running around. He at one time had a mixture of 32 cats and dogs that he collected from the streets. And his brother made him get rid of them. His mom made him get rid of them, but he always had wonderful memories of these street animals that he just loved so much, and he made a little comic from them. So yeah, so something just to kind of pay respects to that creativity from when he was a kid.
Right
I
on.
saw, Tina, that you posted like the images that your father had illustrated and
Yeah.
then shown the 3D version, and
Yes.
it's almost, and that's incredible. Like I wish we could show both. Like you literally like took it out of the page to
I
kind of
tried.
show it.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, Nunes says saludos, alumnos. Yeah.
Hola, Nina.
And my mom was born in Layton.
Right on, Richard.
Yeah. So we're going to have someone else come on stage and ask you questions too. And, thank you for coming up. But we still have a lot more questions about the mini altars and how did you start that too, to make them?
That's a really good question. I've always had a wonderful fascination. I think growing from the little miniature dioramic scenes that we would get from Mexico. We would go to Los Angeles to visit family, my mom's side of the family, and my grandma would go to Mexico, and she'd bring back these little tiny dioramas that we loved as kids and wanted to play with them, but they were not for playing. So when I started working at the Language Academy of Sacramento, they were in the process of doing shoebox altars as well. So that's when I started mine. I think it must have been 2011, maybe. Where we started doing shoebox altars, and also kind of supplementing the altars with all of my miniature things that I collect. Every year when my grandma would go to Mexico, she would bring me back like a string of little tiny miniature jarritos, little jarros, little mugs, little cups, little plates.
Yeah.
And so I had a big collection of them. So when I first started doing the workshops, I would supplement the paper cutouts with my own miniature things. And so that kind of added a little bit of a special quality, a more authentic quality to it, to see the little things in clay. And then from there, I started, I've been a sculptor my whole life. My dad was a ceramicist, so we learned from him, but doing things in polymer clay and Fimo clay, Sculpey clay. I started doing little miniature foods and adding those to that. So through the years, it's kind of evolved into just adding little tiny features to it to really cater or gear it or hone in the intention of for who you're making it for.
Yeah.
So say your grandparents, my grandma, she made terrible pancakes, but my grandpa loved pancakes, right? So you can make a little stack of pancakes, not just with the pan dulce, but his también. So that was part of the fun, was creating those things that were specially geared towards your loved one, and just really adding to the intention of the creation of the altar. So again, the shoe boxes really makes it accessible. I have a lot of good friends at different shoe stores in Sacramento that I get to ask them during this time of year if they'll save the boxes for me. And so I collect hundreds of boxes for each of the workshops, and that really makes it super easy and expensive to be able to work with the community with that.
Awesome. And real quick, so it's Saturday, but how do you register? What do you have to do to get on, so people can know?
So we did post this as well on our social media channels. It's also on our website. If you go to the latinocenter.org, we try to include as many registration links to all the workshops from all the centers there too. If you're on Instagram, you go to our link tree, so it's there as well. But if you'd like, when I have a moment, Ruben, I'll try to pull that link up and try to drop it into the chat.
Okay. Yeah. And look who's here. Armando's here. Hey. Hola, humans. And we have our illustrious Maestro Vidal, who is the what is he? You can say it better than I can.
He's many things.
He's a great person.
Oh no,
good vibrations.
Maestro Vidal is not only the director of folk and traditional art at the Latino Center of Art and Culture. He is also one of the lead altaristas. So he's not only responsible for so much of what you see with the Panteón de Sacramento and the recent event of Oaxaca, but there is another workshop we'll be doing on the 28th, and those altaristas will be representing the altares de Mexico. And so Maestro Vidal will actually be leading with 3 or 4 other altaristas the history of ofrendas within those specific states So 5 different states in Mexico that will be represented at that talk. And working a lot with the maestros of other dance groups for that one. So as mentioned, each one of these workshops is different. No 2 workshops are the same. And yet all of them tap into the spirit of ofrenda making and creating an altar. So
That's right. Let me do it. Yes, so welcome, Idan. Let me do a special plug for myself. I will be creating an immersive altar experience, right? That is fully vibrational structured, and you'll be able to feel the vibes. There'll be dreamy like altars from Oaxaca in there, pictures that I took and all this stuff. So it'll be trippy. I mean, good trippy, but it'll be full of love, and I'll explain to you later why I created it. But we are going to bring someone else right after this commercial. For a good thing, we're going to bring Miss Yaya on so we can all have a good conversation. So thank you for coming. We'll be here every Monday at 7:00 with different artists, different people to talk to you about the City of Altars and what is going on, because I am also finding out what's going on. So that's great. So, right? So Ruben, you got to be here tomorrow. Okay. All right. Perfect. So we'll come back with Miss Yaya after this, and please ask questions. This is all about you. We're here to, because there's questions I don't even know that I love hearing. That's good. So we'll be right back.
Una prueba de COVID-19 lo ayudará a saber si usted tiene COVID-19. Aquí explicamos cómo hacerse una prueba. Primero, póngase una mascarilla para que otras personas no se enfermen. Luego, puede pedirle a alguien que lo ayude a hacerse una prueba de COVID-19. Abra la caja. Tome el bastoncito de algodón. Ahora está listo para hacerse la prueba. Bájese la mascarilla. Póngase el bastoncito de algodón dentro del agujero izquierdo de su nariz. Mueva el bastoncito en círculos. Luego, póngase el bastoncito de algodón en el agujero derecho de su nariz. Mueva el bastoncito en círculos otra vez. Recuerde que, si lo necesita, siempre puede pedirle ayuda a alguien. Cuando haya terminado de hacerse la prueba, espere unos minutos. Luego, revise la prueba. Si la prueba dice que tiene COVID-19, quédese en su casa durante 5 días. Siempre use una mascarilla cuando esté cerca de otras personas. Probablemente se sentirá mejor en unos días.
We are back.
we're back.
And we are about to bring another force on the air. Everybody, Yaya.
Another force. I love it. Thank you.
Oh, let me take off Tina's City of Altars tattoo
Yes.
real quick.
Yes. There you go.
All right.
You can put it right. You can put it right here. Oh,
Just give it to you.
Yeah,
Over
move it
there.
over here.
move it by Muhammad Ali.
So how's it going? How are you?
I'm doing well. Wonderful to see beautiful faces and all these floating bubbles in the marigolandia here.
That's right.
Goes
What do you
nice with
think?
my forehead.
Mine is really shiny too. Like, oh, yours is not.
And less greasy.
I'm so shiny.
I know. It's like Jesus.
Anyway, so we're all
How are
shiny.
you?
We're all shiny. That's it. That's what we do. Before we go on, let's look at this. Ruben's always full of love. There you go.
And cookies.
There you go. The community altar. What should we bring for the community
How do the
altar?
kids do it?
That's a
That's a
great
great
question, Richard.
Photographs.
Do you want to take this?
Oh yeah. So the community altars are really for you to express your love and joy and celebration for your loved ones. So photos are always wonderful. Along with the photos, I would bring whatever things remind you most of them. It could also be like a pair of glasses. It could be their favorite book. It could be the mug that they used to drink coffee out of. Like little things like that that really personalize the celebration of that person would be really, really perfect.
Good question. Good answer. Good answer. I love it. So Yaya, tell us a little bit about yourself and your not interest, but Involvement. There you go. I need.
A little bit about myself. Okay, so thank you, Tina, Carissa, and Ruben, for this last minute opportunity to join you.
My bad. Thank
Um,
you. Yeah.
so it's about, I landed in Sacramento back in 1990. And can y'all hear me okay?
Can you speak up a little? Or
These
put
off?
your mic to your.
No.
I mean, I don't know.
Just speak a little louder.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
All right. So back in 1990, I started my higher education at Sacramento State. And that really solidified my relationship and connection to many of the greats that I would end up calling, relatives or extended family here. And those folks included folks like Maestro Chuy Ocelot for my foot in the danza world. I like that my foot. Thanks to Jesse, he shared that they shared that the last time we were all gathering, as well as Nana Cobb, who will be honored soon through the work of Teatro Espejo, and that was another foot in my time. I think I want to turn these headphones off and be without.
We can't hear you now.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me any better?
Okay. There you go.
Oh, thank you, Tina. So yeah, I think I was in two different worlds with the headset on connected to my phone and not the computer. Anywho, so yes, my time through Sac State is really what allowed a wonderful fusion from my Tejana life back into my Califas life, which started in San Jose originally. Exposure time, if you will, through the Chicano Latino Youth Leadership Project back in the 80s. I came pre-age, I think I was 13, 14, 15 or so the first 3 years, and then came back to become super active in it at the age of 17 as a college freshman. And while I was there, I had exposure to beautiful people like Diane Rodriguez, or as you mentioned earlier, I think you mentioned Richard's name, Richard Montoya through Culture Clash, and of course, the late and great folks that were around in that time from the Royal Chicano Air Force, mentors, Jose, Ricardo, um, and many others. Wanishi, who just transitioned. That's when I kind of came in to meet everybody and have exposure to everybody or reconnect with them because maybe I met them when I was very young and then met them as a teenager, if you will, right? And then when I became a student at Sacramento State, I became super involved with mainly with Jose in the silkscreen and the barrio art world, as well as through Manuel Ticket. So this is 1990, remember, like pre-millennial for all the young folks. And in the Teatro Espejo life, and then eventually Teatro de la Tierra and Teatro Campesino as well. So my time there is where a lot of my understanding of where I would soon, take off on my journey of my charcoal foot travels, as I like to call them. This was the foundation time. And as a student of ethnic studies and cultural anthropology, of danza, and of teatro, it was like life never turned off, right? Like you had to work really hard to like get that rest or get that downtime or get that replenishment time because it was like you hit the ground and you just kept running, right? And traveling, running, traveling, running. And yeah, just always being in awe, but also like not too much time to just like stand there in awe. You had to get to work. You had to help, work on a mural. You had to help, build a set. You had to learn your lines. You had to organize. You had to drive. You had to, you had to just get people where they needed to be, and you needed to supply, flags or T-shirts or art or altars, with all that you had in your heart, and with all the integrity possible to show up for your peoples and to connect your peoples to each other. And
So let me ask you a question. So you're part of the City of Altars, right? Pulled you in there.
Yes, thank
Um,
you so much
what?
to Alpha Bhutan and Miss Shona of the Sojourner Truth Museum.
Yeah, and what do you guys what do you have for us to what are you going to present for us too through that time?
Well, sending love and tenderness to our dear Alpha, who just recently, uh, she's dealing with the loss of her older sister right now. So I want to send her a lot of love right now. We are working on various altares. I believe they've included new folks. Carissa, you might have to read off the names for me because the only ones I'm remembering are the ones. I know Daphne Burgess, who's amazing and awesome, and I had the opportunity to work with them through my time with the Sacramento Metropolitan Arts Commission way back when, early millennia. Um, and also the Art Nurse folks are coming in, but there's two folks in between that I cannot recall that are also joining us. But it's Sojourner Truth's executive director and founder, Shona, who's a phenomenal muralist, an amazing painter with just outstanding, gorgeous works in this world, is going to be making a huge altar. They are one of the featured altaristas, as well as Alpha Brutan, who came to us back from Chicago, originally from Fresno, but living in Chicago and working between Chicago and Sacramento, and myself. I can't really speak to what they are presenting in their altares, but what I'm working on in the research right now, along with my papa, and I invite any community members to send in some DMs or some direct messages, as they say. I'm working on the connection between our Afro root, our Afro identity within the Mexica community, within Spanish-speaking communities of the Americas, so that when we're catching up with each other in December, we're seeing ourselves reflected in what was presented in November with the other four organizations during the traditional Muertos time and realm, because we're going to extend that realm all the way through December into Kwanzaa. And I originally had this vision of focusing on femicide because a lot of my writing and research work is around missing and murdered Indigenous people right now. We've done this before in the past through Movimiento Molcajete, on working on pieces about Juarez and pieces about the Zapatista women. But right now we are going into instead of heroes, sheroes, and relatives, hopefully, of Sacramento that are of the direct Afro Mexica or Afro Chicano community, and or folks just having and recognizing that root within their culture, community, family, in the recent and in the now, so that we are again celebrating and seeing ourselves everywhere we go.
No, I love that Yaya hit on some of the intentions for these altares at each of the spaces. So in addition to really uplifting many of the practices that we have in the region, something that we've asked each of the centers to do is to be able to really think to a specific cause or initiative, whether it's here in the region, but truly what is an issue that impacts our communities and what is very personal for the altarista as well. And so, yeah, thank you so much for bringing up the femicide in Juarez. And for those who are not aware, there will be more information on that as more of these altares are built and shared with the community. I know that Soul Collective is focusing a great deal on collaborating with the Sacramento Native American Health Center. So a lot of the health-related issues that impact Indigenous communities in the region will be also reflected in the altar that they're making. For us, we are working with Líderes Campesinas. So the Latino Center will be focusing on campesinas, farm workers, specifically women, gendered issues, and a lot of the issues they face, not only as farm workers, but as women farm workers. And then we have Tana, that is working with brown issues. So speaking very much about youth violence and the impact of that within the communities and the ways that they're also overcoming it through art.
The violence on youth too, really.
Yes. So it's really exciting to see that. And then we have the Washington Neighborhood Center, which is working with the Brown Berets and working with also Washington Elementary School, I believe. So they're also working with youth, but also working with a few other pieces. And we mentioned Sojo. But it's exciting because some of these they're all organic and true to the communities that we serve. And so really using the altar as a platform through which we share those stories. But there will be more about that. And it's such a multifaceted thing, but like, yeah, perhaps, or Tina, that's what you've always done.
Yeah.
So like it's, I mean,
Yeah.
that seems like a simple concept, but it's not. It's like it has always been a tool through which so much is shared, and I'm still learning so much about how it's been represented. And so, kind of leave it to that point.
Yeah, I think that the altar and tying back into our indigeneity, Happy Indigenous Peoples Day on Nisenan and Maidu and Patwin lands here. I'm in Oak Park. I think that, you know, Tina, you can speak to this directly from your papa, from your uncle, from your aunties. Um, art has always been a healing tool, but also our tool of weaponry, and weaponry in that one to cultivate and protect and to honor our whole self as a people, and as a people that refuse to be erased and displaced indefinitely. And so I think that, from our maestros, maestras, um, the politica um, was never separate from the love within the art, right? Like they went hand in hand. And the politicizing and the educating of our people, whether it was, on the flatbed trucks, or whether it was through posters, or whether it was through altares, was really reminding people that we see ourselves here in the future. We acknowledge ourselves in the past, and we are doing our best to be present with each other in this moment with as much kindness and orgullo as possible, but also the pride that we need to pass on, because it's not being shown or taught from any other place. It really has to start from, the home, the neighbor, the extended auntie, the extended uncle, and if we're lucky, a mentor, right? But maybe, Tina, you can speak more about that, and that, the politicizing from day one. Because I always tell people, I'm a movimiento child, and I learned how to march before I could walk, right? You're the exact same kind of code there, but what does that translate to for others?
Well, yeah, when I think about, some of the, I mean, for my parents, our parents, to be around and kind of like anchored within the Chicano movement, right? Like that's where the desire for self, the reclaiming of indigenous roots. Our parents would talk about how there was nothing written about Mexico, nothing written about anything of their ancestry and their history books. And so when the Chicano movement kind of blossomed, it was that reclaiming of that identity and really grasping on to things that were very traditional, that even the Mexicanos in Mexico do not celebrate in the same way that we do now. Um, that was a really beautiful thing too, to grab onto those traditions, to hold on to them, and to be Chicano was to be political. So of course, growing up in that kind of that space has just always been a real gift. We learned early on, we are Chicano, we are Mexicano, born on this side of the border, but we're also politically aware, and we are politically active. So coming from a long line of families who are altaristas, always having an altar permanently in my home, taken down, redone during this time, during this season. That was something that was always familiar and always something that we did. So to teach that to the community, to children, I work with children for most of my life. Barrio art kid, fifth grade birthday was at the Washington Neighborhood Center. So, kindergarten, from kindergarten up to adulthood, until I started working and kind of branched out on my own. But we've always been about community, celebrating with community, creating community. And I think it's really beautiful that this partnership, this collaboration with these 5 organizations are just creating a deeper network of more meaningful relationships within our community. And that's really special. It's really important to have that. Sacramento is a beautiful place. We have a lot of wonderful people doing a lot of great work with the youth, with the elders, with our general population. So it's really exciting to see this all come together for this season.
Yeah, and I think you answered Chico's question. What is Tina doing in the community? Perfect. That was a psychic answer there.
I
Yeah.
felt that one. Thanks, Chico.
Well, and I'm just getting to know you, and I think you're a great person. I think
Thank
we
you.
got along real great, real quick. I'm like, Tina, you got to get on here. So I'll do it. So thank you for coming on. I know it was a long day traveling through Fresno, and then all of a sudden hooking up with Carissa there at Fresno. So that's funny. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
You're
But but I want to go real quick. I want to go back to the calendar because people are coming on it. I want to make sure that people know what we're here for. We are here for the City of Altars and like you said, the great collaboration with. I'm meeting a lot of great people in the community, and there's a lot of healing, through La Muerte, so to speak. Right? It's coming, and the portal is opening up, and you can feel the vibes, and everybody. There's a little sadness too when we have to, place the altars, on, things that are. That people loved, and I like when you said about the pancakes, because I think people are sometimes afraid to put, like things like that on there, but I think it's awesome. But I want to go back to the calendar real quick so we can just go over what's going to happen this month. And every Monday we're going to be back here. And hello, Chico. Sorry, I didn't. What we're going to. Sorry. What's going to happen next week and this week coming up? Carissa, you got it?
Sure.
Okay.
I know. I love how small this is on the screen.
Oh, because mine's huge. Oh, here, you know what? I'll do this way. Go ahead. This.
Oh, no, go back, actually.
Okay. Okay.
So, actually, this calendar does capture many of the activations happening for what we're calling City of Altars. But honestly, it's just these are the specific organizations that we're organizing with and hosting these public-led or community-led workshops with lead altaristas. So do not be surprised that actually, if we took our blinders off and really focus on all the galleries, all the bookstores, all the spaces in the Sacramento region, this calendar is filled day to night everywhere. And so it's something that we really should be proud of in the region, that we do keep these traditions alive, but this is just one way we're doing it. This calendar will be publicly posted in the next few days and will be printed and also disseminated. It will also be on our social media platform, so folks can go back to it. But if you want to register for them or attend them, go to the individual sites for these organizations. We will be having as much of that information within our website and our link tree, and all 5 of us will be cross-promoting all of our workshops throughout the month and actually into December as well. So to Yaya's point, even though much of the ofrenda and altar making that the Sojourner Truth an African Heritage Museum will be creating will be in alignment with Kwanzaa at the end of December and January, it is still part of the activations that we have in place. So we see this jump from October with many of the workshops during the week, as well as some of the weekends. And then each of these spaces has its major exhibition, so to speak, for these altares, which is their traditional events. So the Washington Neighborhood Center has Dia de los Muertos, Latino Center of Art and Culture. We have Panteón de Sacramento, November 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Soul Collective has Souls of the City in Old Sac. That's coming up pretty soon. 21st. Yeah, 21st. I was like, it's in 2 weeks, right? Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. And then we have Taller de Nuevo Amanecer also at the end of the month with their Dia de Muertos event, and Sojourner Truth with Kwanzaa in late December, almost around New Year's. And so each of these spaces is developing these altares with community and will be exhibiting them at their major events throughout the season. So every week, you will see from our center, from different spaces, these are the workshops that are coming up. So if there's one near your area or one that you want to be a part of, because no 2 workshops are the same, you should be a part of that. You should go to those spaces and you should go support them as much as possible. Hopefully that answers your question.
So yeah, this week is going to be jam-packed this week. So
this month.
Well, this month. I mean, this week is already starting. So it's good to have like a reference of what's going on too, and who's doing it, and So I'm excited for Tina's workshop. I'll be there. Yeah. What are you gonna present for us on that time again?
Yeah. Well, Tina can definitely speak to what she's doing, but we'll also have Lupe Portillo leading the community altar making and the Platica that day. And we have Azucena Cid.
Yes, we have my prima Azucena Cid. She's actually going to be carrying on the work of her father, my tío Armando Cid. He, for many decades, did a mascara making workshop with La Raza Galeria Posada, and we're bringing her in the same day that I'm doing my workshop for the mini altar at the Latino Center. So we'll have them going on concurrently. So you can go to one, go to both. Yeah, it's exciting. It's a family affair for sure.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Just
So
like the old days, I was actually coming across some photographs where we're making masks with Armando, and then making little shoe boxes with you, and just Danza on the other side. So these photographs that I'm looking for and footage that I'm looking at right now, actually, Ruben, are connecting and tying in many of the years where we were at 15th and G, or whether we were at the Washington Neighborhood Center, or 7th and O, or 15th and R, all of the other places, and now First Street. So
yeah.
and
Well,
soon
I feel like I'm new. I'm actually learning a lot of history from Sacramento right now. I wasn't in the art scene. I was into the more of the goth rock scene, electronic music scene. So I had my own path. But I'm really, I'm really enjoying learning a lot about artwork and about these artists and about people that were here before me who open up that pathway and with their heart and soul, and it's really humbling to hear what people have done, and bringing back the history, and just honoring it and moving past anything that's that's negative, because for me it's like I really want to know about the good stuff. I mean, there's always stuff that's behind us, and but I really think that it's a beautiful thing that working with all these organizations for me too, and it's like get to know everybody. I'm like, everybody's really nice, and I think we could do a great work ahead of us in the future too.
Yeah, I'm also very much in appreciation of Carissa bringing us together through their own learning and their leadership, and weaving us together as one, because I think for folks maybe that are either new to Sacramento because of the opportunity to come to school here or come to work here, or like my child born here, they've seen certain things at certain times, but don't know the connection. And this allows us to show the connections, or the reconnection, or the evolving, or the beginning, right? Of where do we go from here? And that's a wonderful opportunity, as Stina brought up, an opportunity to unfold and to heal from. I really love that, people can remember 50 years ago walking from, the center to the cemetery, or even, I don't know, 10 years ago when we did it, and I think Soul was maybe like 8 years old, right? And I think hopefully we'll get to do it again this year. I'm not sure. Do you know, Tina, if we're going to be able to march from the Centro to St. Mary's like we did?
Believe we are. They were going to talk to the priests, I think, about it.
Yeah.
Because I think typically the
wait time,
we used to do the procession in the evening,
and
it had to move to daytime.
Right.
But they're hoping to, since I think she's mentioned, or Lupe mentioned something about approaching them about doing it in the evening again. So we'll see where that one lands.
And I'm sorry, community. I just kind of went on a tangent there, but so when we walk in the cemetery, that means the actual cemetery of St. Mary's in Sacramento.
Yeah.
Where the peregrinación, or the march, not
procession,
the procession began, and then would end up at the Centro or the Washington Center, and different years, different events, right? So since it's so wonderfully packed, the calendar, I'm not sure where everybody will be on the 2nd. That's the 2nd. And that's where all of these activations and galleries and museums and spaces kind of came into being, because it was done in the community first. It was done in the community as a way of holding on to each other, and holding space for each other, and activating a space that's a public space. So now fancy, artsy nerds like us will say placemaking, right? But it's like we've been placemaking since day one. We've been acknowledging the space as our own. Why? Because our ancestors are there, right?
Yeah.
Why? Because our relatives from really recent are there. And I think it's wonderful to practice this in a traditional and non-traditional and an evolving way, the way we are weaving our stories together.
And Andrew is here. Hello, Andrew. And then Richard said, coming together and healing is kind of what we're doing right now, right? And we have different mediums, so that's the cool part. Is like there's also this other element too of all of these vibrations going everywhere, and just become tentacles, right? And we're just reaching out to to heal ourselves as we go along. I think the community needs that right now, right? So, Carissa.
No, I've talked enough. Actually, that's the best part of this project is like being able to listen so much to other people share those stories. I mean, the point of this it really started last year. I think there were conversations with Yaya where they were imparting some of the history of Sacramento. And I was like, oh yeah, I used to do the procession at 21st because I lived in the area, or I went to Washington Neighborhood Center, and like my mom would do the mascaras that actually our center is going to be doing. And but truthfully, I remember this time last year calling together because I was new-ish in my role, and calling together 20 different folks. And I was like, hey, can we just get a calendar together since we all do really similar things? And it just, in my head, was this very infectious idea. Like there's something about this region where we all do honor so much of our trying to keep our traditions alive and impart them. And I do believe, and I'm not biased, I think it's the truth, that our arts and cultural spaces are the heartbeat of our cities. And I think that when your heart is in different spaces and maybe even a little fragmented, there is a real desire to bring that heart together so that we can move forward. And this collaboration is being supported, yes, financially by certain organizations, but this work was going to happen anyways. And so I think that's the intention, is that none of this is inorganic. It is absolutely people who show up and do this every year, and being able to show that this spirit can continue to be nurtured and strengthened. And I think for me, it is such an honor to be able to not speak. And so let the artist speak. And thanks, Devin. But Devin just joined the team too. So I got another co-conspirator at the Latino Center. But it's but I simply do believe that I'm going to get to hear, and even when I speak to Jorge Quintana, who's our director of comms and one of the lead directors for the documentary, we should be decentered in all of this. Let the artist speak. Let the person who has been in this region longest share that story, and let us be able to listen. So that's what I'm hoping for.
I think one of the really beautiful things about having these organizations come together is you have people from different parts of Sacramento that are attending these workshops. And something beautiful that I've been able to witness is other communities starting similar things for their neighborhoods. For example, the Gardenland Northgate Neighborhood Association, this is going to be their third year of starting their own kind of like programming around Dia de Muertos, and then an actual day of celebration as well. So that's really exciting to watch these things grow from the ground up, like we did with Soul Collective. It's really exciting to be a part of these kind of seeds that have been planted, and just being able to nurture and cultivate. And it's this time, this holiday, the celebration is extremely healing. We move with intention. All these altars and ofrendas that we make are just super intentional. You're immersed in the memories of your loved ones. You're thinking about them. You're kind of moving away from grief and into celebration, just to remember them. And so it's such a lovely thing to be able to see that blossom in other communities as well, from having them participate in the programming closer to the city, right? So it's nice that Northgate is now starting something for themselves, and I'm really excited for them.
Right on. So we have a question. I think, Carissa, you could find out where we can find the calendar again, right?
Yes. So it just went to print this past weekend. So what we'd like to do is we're going to be sharing it through all of our social media channels and mass newsletters this week. So if you wouldn't mind following us or following any of the 5 spaces, this will be shared on all of our different platforms. Otherwise, drop your email address and I'll send you the PDF.
Yeah, and I'll send it to her too, because she's a very good collector of mine too. She's actually one of the #1 collectors of mine. So I will send that to her personally. too. And then we got this. Look at this.
We got a
Who's
fan.
this?
Yeah.
Ellie.
Oh, LP.
And then we have another comment. You want to read that, Krista?
What does it say? Angel says, beautiful ceremony every year for those of us who visit our loved ones and ancestors laid to rest at St. Mary's. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean that's where it began, and I think for a lot of folks, thanks to Lupe, who's held and built that altar, and also held and built the relations with the pre. What happened?
Nothing. I have to get my charger, but you keep talking.
Okay. Because that is definitely a place where danza takes center and leads, as well as for our elders, still going to that place called the Catholic Church, have their mass, and it's a place where we coexist, and we honor each other and our ways of worship and our ways of celebration in the same space, in the same time, under the same sky, on the same earth. And so I think that's really magical, for us to hold each other's space like that. That's pretty unique. But I will say that a couple of weeks ago, I was at a powwow dance workshop in a church in San Francisco. So that just kind of blew my nopal, because I thought getting down at the cemetery, with our danza next to the priest watching us was one thing. But anyhow, we grow as we grow.
Well, I want to say that it was great. So I met Lupe. I barely met her at Stan Padilla's show at Classy Hippie Tea.
You're welcome.
And yeah, and she, I met her. I'm like, hi, how you doing? And then I met her again at the Latino Center again. And I'm like, hi. She's like, you know me, Ruben. I'm like, oh yes, right. But it's beautiful to hear like the history that comes out of what she had to say too, and why why they created it and everything else too. Because my mom is also buried at St. Mary's, and I've lived in Sacramento my whole life, and I've never been there for Muertos event there. So it'll be an interesting. It'll be fun, fun. I know, good way too, right?
You should make her. I'll talk to you about something we can make for her and take it to her grave.
Yeah, awesome. So, everybody, where time is up now. I get paid highly money, so no extra time. No kidding.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I'm on. Now, first of all, well, actually, we have a lot of people out here now, but we'd like to thank everybody for coming for the City of Altars show, and it'll be every Monday at 7:00, so we know what's going on next weekend. So, and we'll have footage of people, actually some of the events and some of what's going on too. But we're gonna stay on just a little bit longer. I'm gonna play a little bit of the Panteons that's coming up that they did a documentary on. We'll watch it for 1 second, and we'll come back. Okay? We'll be here.
Oh, we can talk over it?
Yes.
Can't wait.
There's one story that I have of one of my students and family.
Yeah.
Their son had passed away, and the family had other children. Children were younger and didn't know really much about this child that had passed away in their family. And when I give this assignment out, it's a project, but it's a family project, because that project in itself makes them remember and understand the life of this other person. And the parent came back and turned around and said, thank you. All these stories that I knew of my son, me, myself, it was just me. I had not shared those stories with my younger kids. And so I was able to think of those stories and make them know who he was through the stories that I lived with him.
So that was one.
Oh, super touching.
Yeah. So so it's exciting to have. That was last year's Pantheon, but every group, every community, like you said, Gardenland is doing one. We all have people that passed. I mean, that's one of our common things in life, right? People that we love that passed away, and I think that's gonna, will bring us together, and especially in this time now that we're out of this post-COVID world, of how we're, people need to get back together and build a community that was, kind of torn apart in a way too. Someone's asking every Monday for how many weeks? So it'll be for at least 4 weeks straight, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll come back to for Kwanzaa week and stuff like that too. But they want the public's already asking. The public wants more. Every Monday. No.
They want you, Ruben. They want you.
Yeah, so.
Give the people what they want.
So I want to introduce everybody to my mom. So my mom, she'll be at St. Mary's. She always is, right? And this is my other mom who raised me, right? Mm-hmm. So it'll be special. Like, it's special, and it's a great time. And I know that it'll be a very healing. It's already, I feel the healing coming on. It's just like So anyways, any final words for everybody? Tina.
Oh man. All I can say is I am really excited for this beautiful collaboration. You're right, it's super healing. The gift of doing something like this is being able to share your loved one with others. I remember it took me 5 years before I could talk about my dad after he passed without crying. And I was so excited because I could speak without that lump in my throat. And I wanted to share about him. And so the community wants to share about their loved ones, and the community wants to share in general with each other. So this is a really beautiful way to come together. So I'm really excited and very honored to be a part of it.
Miss Yaya?
Scratch the miss. Scratch the miss. Scratch the miss.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm glad that I got the call from Miss Alpha. Glad that everybody is on board. And tomorrow, I'll be assisting Eddie Salas over at Taná, Taller Arte de Nuevo Amanecer. Thank you, Malaquias Montoya, with a feature of Jose Cordon, I believe. And thank you, Elise, for, having Eddie, co-pilot that vision of a poetry night. And I really look forward to everyone coming together in all the spaces that we'll be convening and gathering and sharing our healing together.
Hey, thank you. We got a lot of We Love Tina going on today. So I can just shut this live stream off right now. It's too much Tina. Too much love for Tina.
I love Tina. I love Tina. I love Tina.
See, we all love Tina. See, yeah, there you go. But yeah, so we will be back here next Monday, and we'll have some footage from Yaya too. That's awesome, from what's going on, and hopefully bits of what's going on in the community for the City of Altars every Monday night at 7 p.m. Hopefully Chris will be the co-host again next week, and hopefully we'll get some people from Soul Collective to talk about the City of Souls, right?
Souls of the City.
Dang it, I'm dyslexic.
Come on.
I asked Carissa. I will mess everything. I mean, yeah, don't give me numbers. But yeah, and everybody out there, we love you too, and we are very happy that you're here with us, and you're very happy. Have any questions? There's no wrong question to ask us today too. Hold on one second.
Yes, we do, especially as parents at Elk Grove Unified School District. That's why they love Miss Tina.
Well, I'm going to give a shout out to the North Side. I'll be at a few schools that Eddie has me working at, as well as Rosie, I believe.
Hey, I would have been there, but that's too late. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Rosie will be there. I will be there. Jocelyn, my sister, will be there.
Your sister will be there. Yes.
And also the awesome oh my gosh, Tana will be there. Eddie will be there.
How come I didn't get an invite? Now I'm gonna go to bed sad now.
You can come.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. All right, well, love you. Join us next Monday at 7. Where's the words from the sign off?
Yeah, I think none of this would be possible if it wasn't already, I'm thinking of how I met each one of you and how I'm consistently meeting all of you. And at some point, one of you sat down with me and talked to me. or even Tina sought me out and was like, what are you about? And, sometimes there are people that I think that to anyone who's listening, you can be a part of this. And so it's really going to those spaces, reach out to us, say, how do I get involved? How do I learn more about these spaces? And how can I support our ability to keep our traditions alive and share them? And I think that that's something that I just really would like to leave here. I wouldn't be able to do anything without community. And I wouldn't be able to do it if I didn't take a step back and put community first and listen to what they wanted to do and how they wanted it done. And so I am very humbled to be in a position where I get to listen and where I get to bring together, but also to just kind of let it take form. Like, Ruben, you created this beautiful digital space for us. These ofrendas are taking on a life of their own. These talleres are like cosmically different from one to the other. And that's just the beauty of letting people and creative people and artists and storytellers use the space as they see fit and true to who they are. And so that's what I find so inspiring, is that all of this heart is here in this region and we can do this work. And so I'm just very honored and I feel really blessed to be a part of it. Yeah, Bridget, la que se fue. What's up, Richard?
So, and there you go. And any last words from anybody out in the audience? Come back next Monday. We will be back. So you guys stay on for the live stream after party. Yeah. So anyways,
there's iced tea.
Yeah, we're out. Everybody, thank you very much. We'll be back here next Monday, 7 o'clock. Cheers, everybody. And thumbs up. And we'll see you next week.